This week, Phil Phillips is archery elk hunting on the 75,000-acre Queen Mountain Ranch located in southwest Wyoming. The aspen trees are turning from green to gold, and Phil is hunting during the peak of the rut in late September, his favorite time of the year. Will Phil get a shot at a trophy Wyoming bull elk? Find out this week on Phil Phillips Unleashed.
Hunting has always been my way of life. It's my profession, it's my passion. It's what I do best. My life's been captured on film so I could share it with you. I'm Phil Phillips, and this is my story. I hope you'll join me.
I'm a cowboy, I'm a worldwide cowboy, and there ain't no way you're ever gonna slow me down. I said, I said,
Welcome to today's show. You know, September is my favorite time of the year because I get to hunt bugling bulls with bow and arrow. I practice all year long with my Matthews bow so I can be tuned up. When I hear that first bugle, I know the rut's on. So let's head out to southwest Wyoming to the Queen Mountain Ranch and get the show started. Well, we're here in Wyoming with R&K Outfitters. Weather's a little bit warm. We've hunted this ranch a couple times before. I think even with the warm weather, we should do pretty well.
After arriving at the ranch, Phil meets up with longtime friend and outfitter Daniel Richens and gets an update on the hunting.
Daniel!
How you doing, Bill? Mike? Long time no see.
You beat us here. I thought we'd be ahead of you.
Yeah. You guys ready for this?
I think so.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good. Mike?
Daniel,
How are you? If you guys want to grab your gear, we'll get set up in the house and maybe go out tonight, do a little looking.
Sounds good.
That works
Sounds
perfect.
good. All right, great.
Okay.
You know, the first evening on the ranch, the plan was to go to a high spot, listen for some elk bugling, and glass the aspens, watch for elk to come down from the aspens to get water. Though we were hunting, the real idea was to make a plan for the next morning. Well, the elk didn't disappoint us. We saw quite a few bulls across the canyon, headed back to camp to set up a plan to hunt the next morning.
The next morning, Phil and Daniel follow the bugles coming from a herd of elk headed to their bedding area.
Well, we were within 100 yards of the whole herd back in the aspens, so it was a good time to set up. Got Daniel behind me with a call, set out a Montana decoy, and it worked really well. Too bad the bull wasn't a little bigger because he was well within range.
There's nothing more challenging than trying to get within bow range of a mature bull elk, especially with swirling winds. Phil Phillips has some tips to share with you to help tip the odds in your favor.
Now, every week I'm preaching to you about scent control, but the one animal, if there was anyone that is most important to, it would be the bull elk when you're calling them during the rut. There's something about an elk that, whether he's coming downwind, thinking about a hunter, or if, in my opinion, he's coming downwind trying to figure out what bull it is he's coming into before he gets his butt whipped, In any event, he's trying to get downwind of you. And before scent lock, I lost so many good opportunities at big bulls. Scent lock came out, I met those guys, I took it out for a field test, and the first bull I called in got straight downwind of me. I thought it was gonna be over, he bugled, it came straight in, and I put an arrow in him. So scent control is so important with elk, and since then, technology's gotten so much better, scent lock's gotten better, and products like the Scent Killer Gold come on the line. Your boots, your hat, your pack, everything that's not covered with the scent lock clothing, it's a full package. So take your scent lock into the field in a bag, get away from your truck, your four-wheeler, dress from top to bottom, but then take that extra minute to spray your boots, your hat, your pack, get anything that's not covered with scent lock sprayed, and when you get that bull coming in downwind, he's gonna keep on coming.
Phil Phillips Unleashed is brought to you by Scent Lock, Easton, Matthews, catch us if you can, Burris Optics, New Archery Products, and Mississippi. Find your true south. When we went to commercial break, Phil and guide Daniel Richens were chasing bugles and following the herd through the aspen trees with hopes of getting within bow range of the herd bull.
That morning we saw a lot of different bulls and a lot of elk way back in the timber. I got a glimpse of a bull I thought would go 340 or better. I set my sights on him, but as hunting the big bulls usually is, it was pretty difficult.
Had my gamers on to locate him. I gotta put him up because it sounds like he was like 10 yards away. You lose your perception once you find him. Plus we sound like a little herd of buffaloes. We're not gonna have to go much. We get right here in this timber. This hill right here.
I never could see him. How nice bull was he?
He's a 6x6. He's probably 300. Big enough.
He went around all over.
I lost him in this thick aspen right here.
Tell you what, folks, that is a big bed of a big bull, and the reason I know that is about 15 yards back there, we're slipping up through the timber. There's a bull bugling over here. We're trying to cut him off, and Daniel and I both saw him at the same time. We thought he was just standing here, but he got up out of this bed 15 yards from us and went here, and we cow called, and he kind of circled. Of course, in this thick timber, it happens fast. We didn't get the bull on, but he's a big 6-point. That's 2 6 points in 10 minutes, all by themselves.
We need to find the herd bull.
Yeah, no kidding. There's got to be a heck of a herd bull in here, but I'm pretty happy with the satellites we're seeing. There's a track. It's kind of hard to see, but this thing's got a Hereford track on him, and he's a satellite bull out here all by himself. We got a bull bugling about 200 yards over here. Maybe he's the one we're looking for.
That's cool.
Daniel and Phil spent the next 2 days working that herd and trying to get a shot at the big bull without any luck. The weather got hot and the elk started to shut down earlier every morning and start up later every evening.
You know, when the weather gets hot, The elk hunting gets tough. Just have to be patient. A lot of times in September, the weather will cool down and go in your favor. But you know, you can't control Mother Nature.
While the hunting was slow, the hunters were still seeing elk, and Phil was intent on passing up the smaller bulls in hopes of eventually getting a shot at the big herd bull.
Don't pass up on the first day, what you'd be glad to shoot on the last day. I'm just really bad at taking my own advice. I always feel like if I shoot a small bull on the first day, I'm never going to get that big bull. Then my freezer might not get filled up.
Phil has some tips on great archery hunting equipment that he uses today on his elk hunts.
You know, I choose Matthews for every species I hunt, but when it comes to big animals like elk, we're in open country, flat shooting bows are important. They came out with a Monster a few years ago, and this year they brought out the new Monster Chill. It's the best of all worlds. The only problem I had with the original Monster, it was a little bit heavy when you're climbing the mountains, but I still packed it with me because it was so flat shooting. But with the new Chill, it doesn't weigh any more than their other bows. Super flat shooting, flat trajectory, with an adjustable sight like the CBE and the Easton injection arrows. It's a perfect combination for hunting elk. The injection shaft has got what they call the T6 technology, which is a smaller thread design, so the broadheads that are designed for it are actually bigger than the shaft itself. Like this Kill Zone broadhead opens up to 2 inches and it puts a big hole, and with this small shaft behind it, penetration is unbelievable. Leads you to a big blood trail that usually doesn't go very far. So you want the perfect combination for hunting big boned animal like Rocky Mountain elk. Get a Matthews Chill, Easton injections, NAP Kill Zones, and put on your CBE sight or a good adjustable sight. Go out there and take your big bull.
This week, Phil is hunting on the Queen Mountain Ranch, a working sheep farm that spans over 75,000 acres of diverse wildlife habitat, ranging from rolling sagebrush prairie in the lowlands to the spectacular mountain meadows and aspen trees in the high country. This scenic property is truly an elk hunter's paradise.
Well, the next day was actually going to be my last day of hunting. It was the end of the Wyoming elk season, and I had a Montana elk tag burning a hole in my pocket. So needless to say, my theory about waiting for the big bull had gone out the window. Now it's all about getting elk meat for the freezer. Well, last morning we decided to go back up on top where we'd actually glassed from that first evening. We parked the Polaris Ranger at the top of the ridge and slipped down an old logging road. As soon as we got out of the Ranger and started walking, we heard an elk chuckling way down in the timber. We started towards him, hadn't gotten very far at all, had a bull let out a bugle right below us in the timber.
Phil and Daniel quickly get set up. Daniel moves back 25 yards and sets up while Phil crouches next to a tree. The logging road would be the perfect shooting lane if the bull came all the way up to them.
This bull was smoking hot. He was coming to the call, and I didn't know if we was gonna have time to set up. I got Daniel behind me with the Montana decoy. He set it up, and I knew if we made a call at the right time, I'd have a 40-yard broadside shot.
shot and he spun. Hit him right tight. I just hope I didn't get that shoulder joint. That sounds pretty good right there. Sounded like he was stumbling. Ooh, just sit tight here and see what happens in there.
In real time, it didn't look like I got much penetration. That always worries me, especially on an animal the size of an elk. But as oftentimes happens, the arrow had gone in and come back out. When I found the arrow laying in the trail, it had gotten plenty of penetration. I felt confident it was going to be a short blood trail, but I just wanted to give the bull a little time so we could be sure.
Look, I see a flashing. These things are cool.
Hang on a second.
Okay, that explains why we heard what we heard. Right. I swore there was that much arrow still sticking out of him. That's that New Eastern laid up knock. It was just like a tracer, and then it flashed. That's the first one I've ever shot at an animal. No, I feel a lot better about it. I don't think we really needed to even wait this long, but
Will Phil find his Wyoming bull elk? Find out after this word from our sponsors. If you'd like to book a guided big game hunt like the one featured in this show, give Steve's Outdoor Adventures a call. The toll-free number and website address are listed on the screen. And Steve will personally help you book the hunting or fishing trip of a lifetime. Phil Phillips Unleashed is brought to you by ScentLock, Easton, Matthews, catch us if you can, Burris Optics, New Archery Products, in Mississippi. Find your true south. When we went to commercial break, Phil had just arrowed a big Wyoming bull elk and was waiting to follow the blood trail.
You know, it really doesn't matter if you're hunting elk, deer, bear, really any other big game animal. If you're not completely sure of the shot or you didn't see the animal go down, it's a good idea to give them some time. I always try to wait 30 minutes, or if it's questionable at all, I'll give them an hour. As a matter of fact, if I'm sure it's shot too far back, I'll give them as many as 5 or 6 hours. If it's cool out, even longer than that. Because there's nothing worse than moving in on an animal too quick, having him get up, the blood trail ends, you know he's out there somewhere, and you don't recover him.
we thought almost certain, right after I shot, we heard him crashing up in here. But it looked like, he turned just before the arrow got there, and it just seemed like a lot of arrows sticking out, but it sounded like he's down right there, so I'm pretty confident. But we're gonna ease up here, see if we can't find a track, and go up in there and see what we got.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Job. Well, I was excited when I spotted the bull. The NAP had done its job like I knew it would. He was down for good, and the best part is my freezer was going to be full for the winter.
Tell you what, Daniel, he's not that 346 point we've been seeing, but he's a darn good bull. Look at the spread on him. Tell you what, he didn't go. Man, he's a 6'2".
Yeah.
Oh man, are you kidding me? Oh, look at the spread on that guy.
Nice, Bill.
Thank you again, Daniel. That's, oh. Oh man, considering I was ready this morning to shoot an average 5-point, I am absolutely thrilled. He is wide. Look at the size of him.
Yeah, he's a big old toad.
Man, he's not no youngster for sure. We got so fortunate, we parked up here, he shut the Ranger off, and a bull was chuckling. So we just headed down the 2-track and bugled one time, and he answered immediately. Came right up in the 2-track right where we had been calling from, and gave me about a 42-yard shot. And I was a nervous wreck for the last 25 minutes, because when he spun and took off,
I just saw that much arrow, and he turned right when the arrow got there, and it looked good. But, you know, just, boy, that quick, yeah, it looked like the whole arrow was still sticking out there, and they got such heavy bones up here. But then we heard him crashing up here. It's like, was that really what I thought it was?
You got him.
Anyway, man, I can't be happier.
Good hunt.
It's been an awesome hunt.
Well, that was another great hunt on the Queen Mountain Ranch in Wyoming, one of my favorite elk hunting spots. You know, if you want to go for an elk hunt on the Queen Mountain Ranch or any other hunt, give Steve West a call at Steve's Outdoors Adventures. I sure hope you enjoyed today's show, and I hope you'll tune in again next week. Until then, I'm your host, Phil Phillips, and always remember these 3 things. Be safe, practice good conservation, always eat better than you found it. We'll see you next time.
Phil wraps up another amazing elk hunt at Queen Mountain and points his truck north to Montana, where another week of elk hunting awaits him, another week from home, and another week in the life of a professional hunter.
I'm a cowboy. I'm a worldwide cowboy. And there ain't no way you're ever gonna slow me down. I said, ooh, 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 ooh. I said, ooh, 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 ooh.
This has been a Steve's Outdoor Adventures production.